What is good, yo? It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, guys, we're going to be doing a tier list of some of the best free cards in NBA 2K23 MyTEAM. A lot of the Season 7 cards, like if you're looking for like a Franz Wagner cards like that, that's going to be in the last free tier list I did record. I wanted to do some just for this year because like we've got a lot of great free cards this year, you know, from the Donovan Mitchells to the to even the Nat Cliftons, to Rick Smith, Sarunas is even solid. You know, we've got a lot of really solid free cards in my team, and so I wanted to break down all of them with a tier list for you guys today. Now, before we dive any further, man, again, if you're new to the channel, make sure if you love my team's content to smash that subscribe button. You're not gonna find more my team content anywhere. Like here's your place. Let's start off with the Dark Matter Carmelo Anthony. Now, I don't mind Carmelo Anthony at all, and honestly, I think he's B tier as far as free cards are concerned. Now, there are going to be some people in the comments that are like, Ty, are you kidding me? Like, are you serious? Carmelo Anthony, they barely upgraded him. I mean, his SIGs are all the same. Are you seriously putting him this high? And my answer to that is yes. Now, why would I put Carmelo Anthony that high? Does it, what sense does that make to put Carmelo Anthony at B tier? Well, here's the deal. His release on Quick is one of the best releases in the entire game. So you combine that release with a decent player build at 6'8", an easy Evo. I'm giving it B tier. Plus, he's a free locker code. Like, it's not like you have to grind for him. Melo is really solid, and if you have him at your small forward position, he is absolutely okay. Allen Houston up next, and I think he joins Carmelo Anthony in that B tier where I don't mind Allen Houston at all. Is he worth the ultimate grind? That's one that, you know, I don't know if I can sit up here and say Allen Houston is worth the grind that is triple threat offlines, 250 games. But if you do get Allen Houston, he is obviously really solid and a card you can use and have a decent amount of success with. Amari Stoudemire up next. And I promise I'm not going to put everybody at B tier, but I think that's where he belongs. I mean, he might go to A tier, but my whole thing with Amari, and again, I like Amari Stoudemire, so I'm not trying to sit here and hate on him. But my whole thing with Amari is this, right? He's only 6'10" at that power forward position. And again, I'm not hating on the card. I'm not saying like you guys can't use him. I'm just saying my kind of hold up with him, right? You're 6'10" at that power forward position. When you're going to be up against Taco, the occasional Minute, that's where Amari is going to leave a lot to be desired. Artis Gilmore, our first S tier card on the free card list. If you know with Artis Gilmore, you know this card really solid, good player model, good player, but some people are not going to like the release that is Artis Gilmore's. I think it's fine. I think his release may not be the quickest, but you should be able to green with it. It's not a release that is hard to green with. With all those things being said, I think Artis Gilmore low-key is hard to beat. And I know you guys are going to be like, what, Ty? Like, he's Artis Gilmore. He's not even that good. What are you even talking about? I'm telling you. I think he's tough to beat at that power forward position. Obviously, you know, if you have Minute, yes. If you have Shaq, sure. But I'm just saying, outside of those couple of guys, I think Artis Gilmore is absolutely fantastic at that power forward position. Or even if you want to play him at center and you know, for 600 points in Unlimited, if you don't mind grinding my team Unlimited, I think it is a great option for big artists. Austin Carr up next, and honestly, I don't hate Austin Carr. I'm going to put him at D tier, but it's not a D tier of, oh, I don't like the card. It's a D tier of, well, there's just other cards that are probably better on this tier list. But again, I don't mind Austin Carr. I don't hate Austin Carr at all. If he's, let's say, your point guard that you're, you know, using in triple threat offline as you just start the game, I think he's a fine point guard to be using at this stage of my team in offline type of modes. Now, the problem is if you go into online modes and match up with, let's say, a guy like Ben Simmons, you're going to struggle that little bit. Bill Walton up next. I'm going to throw Bill Walton at A tier. I do like Artis Gilmore more than Bill Walton, okay? So that is something that I want you guys to know and understand. Like, I like both the cards. Artis is just 7'2". It's tough to really compete against a guy like that. But Bill Walton, 6'11", gonna move really, really well. It's just we're in an era of my team in which undersized guys are just gonna struggle. Bob Pettit, I'm going to go A tier as well. I think some people that got Bob Pettit are a little disappointed, but I still don't think the card is that bad. Somebody asked me yesterday, Ty, outside of Chet and Bobo, who are some of the best small forwards in the game? And I thought to myself, I mean, Jonathan Isaac, Thurl Bailey, Andre Kirilenko, like, I don't know. There's outside of those two, it's a huge drop off. And for that, you might as well just use Bob Pettit. Do I like AK more? Yes. Do I like Jonathan Isaac more? Yes. I'm just saying Bob Pettit is not bad for what he was. Caron Butler up next. I'm throwing him at B tier. I mean, okay. I need to get some of these lower tiers in here. Victor Oladipo, I'm going to throw at D tier. Mitch Richmond, I'm going to throw at D tier. I don't like Mitch Richmond at all. Hondo, D tier. I need an F tier player, though. And that's the problem. Because I mean, I guess CJ McCollum F tier. I don't even hate CJ McCollum, but he is the worst player on this tier list, so I'll go F tier with him. But I needed to add some lower tier players. I'll move Donovan Mitchell. I like Dono more than some of these cards. I'll move him to C tier. I just needed some more cards. Josh Giddey, I'll throw at C tier. People don't like Josh Giddey, but he is an oversized point guard. So that's where I'm going to have some guys. Now let's go over some of the guys I just added. Okay, Victor Oladipo, yes, he's going to dunk the ball well. But again, an undersized point guard, not the best release in the game. I don't love him. Mitch Richmond, John Havlicek, they're kind of in that same boat. I don't like either of their releases, and you guys can maybe just blame me for it, but I've used both of these cards and not had much success with them. And again, maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's something that I need to make the adjustment to. But even when I play against them in, let's say, like clutch time offline, these cards stink. Marquez Johnson, I haven't used him yet, so I mean, if he's actually good, I apologize. I just have never got to really use the card. And CJ McCollum is CJ McCollum. I mean, he's taller than Donovan Mitchell, but I swear Donovan Mitchell's player build feels better. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. I don't have the reason for that because it doesn't make sense to me, but that is why he ultimately is, it is where he is. Get into some of the good free cards we saw the other day. Let's start with Chuck Cooper. I'd be tempted to put Chuck Cooper at S tier. I love this Chuck Cooper card, man. If you watch my Nobody Spent, you know he's been running things in MyTEAM Limited. I love Chuck Cooper. Literally got him the other day and have had a blast with the card. Earl Lloyd, I'm throwing him at A tier as well. I mean, Earl Lloyd, absolutely incredible. It's preference between him and Chuck Cooper, and I go back and forth personally on who I like more. I do like both the cards, and I think, both of those cards, are cards you guys can run and have a lot of success with. Now, who you guys have more fun with, who you guys prefer, I mean, that's really up to you. I'm just saying, both Chuck Cooper and Earl Lloyd for free are absolutely elite and absolutely incredible. And again, I've had fun using both of them. I think if you have not got that challenge done yet, that spotlight challenge is super easy to do. That may be one of the first things you guys should focus on doing. Elvin Hayes, surprisingly, is A tier. And I know people are going to disagree with me on that, but in my opinion, he's basically another Bob Pettit. Sure, they're a little different. I'm not saying they're exactly the same, but they are close enough to me that I'm putting them at the same tier. And I know a lot of people aren't going to like that out of me, but that is my personal opinion on things. It's really preference based between Elvin Hayes and Bob Pettit. And when I've used Elvin, I've just been so impressed with him. Yes, Bob Pettit probably is the overall better card, but I do think Elvin does belong in that A tier. Glenn Rice up next. I think Glenn Rice is still slept on. I'm throwing him at C tier just because I think Allen Houston is the more complete player. But give me Glenn Rice over Mitch Richmond and John Havlicek. And I know if you grinded for those guys, you're probably mad at me. But again, I've played against those guys. I've used those guys. I just don't see it with them. So if you have like the money John Havlicek or Mitch Richmond, let me see what they're getting into. Because right now, I don't have nearly any respect for them because I have not seen anybody do anything special with them. And until I see it, I'm not going to be a believer. Hakeem Olajuwon up next. I'm throwing him at A tier. Look, I mean, for a free card, he was an okay level 40. I'm not going to sit here and gas him. But he was a decent level 40 for his time. I mean, I'm not just going to sit up here in front of you guys and just all the time hate on him. He was solid. His release just, in my opinion, leaves a little bit to be desired. It's not bad, but it does leave that little bit to be desired. I think there are better cards in my team, but I'll throw him at A tier. Jason Richardson, I'm going to throw him at C tier. I'm going to throw him at B tier. You know what? I had to look where Caron Butler is, and Jay Rich is just a tier lower. He's still better than Glenn Rice, just because he's a more complete player than Glenn Rice, in my opinion. But Jay Rich, in my opinion, should have a better release. His release is a little slow for my liking. Jeremy Grant, C tier. I don't mind Jeremy Grant. His release is not the best though, and that's something, again, I wish was maybe that little bit better, but you can use Jeremy Grant and have some success with the card. Like, I'm not sitting up here and say I hate him. I'm just saying I wish his release was maybe that little bit better and a little bit quicker in my team. Malik Sealy, I'm throwing him in B tier. I don't know what it is about Malik Sealy. I thought I'd really like the card. I just think his release is bad. I don't know what it is. His frame is good. His defense is good. But if you do not have a good release in my team, I am not going to love you. That's the way I've always been this year. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm just weird for that. But again, if you don't have, let's say, a quick release in my team or a good release in my team, I don't know what to tell you. You're baited. People can leave you a little more. People can put it on gap, be able to help in a little more. It just really hurts your squad. Nat Clifton, talk about a guy with a good release. It's Nat Clifton. Now, he is undersized at 6'6". That's why I can't go like S tier with him. But I love using Nat Clifton. If you want to start having fun in my team, here's what I would recommend. Play like triple threat where, you can use those undersized cards. And use guys like Nat Clifton. Use guys like Chuck Cooper. I mean, it's that simple. It's that easier. Play co-op with your buddies, right? You have somebody get like on a big artist, big Hakeem. Somebody get on a tall guy. Somebody run like Chuck Cooper and somebody run Nat Clifton. You can have a lot of fun using those type of cards as long as, you got some guys to balance it out. And the ultimate balance is Rick Smits. I've been sleeping on Rick Smits. I mean, we should have a separate GOAT tier and just put Rick Smits in there because that's how good Rick Smits is. Somebody asked me the other day, Ty, is Rick Smits better than Yao? I said, no chance, no way. After using him, I got him by playing co-op, I think Rick Smits might be the best center outside of Manute Bull in my team. His release is absolutely incredible. He snags on everybody. He gets good animations. I'm just telling you guys, obviously he's RNG, so I can't be like, yeah, you guys need to make sure you go get him. But I'm just saying, if you get him, he is one of the best overall cards in my team. I promise you that. You guys can say I'm gassing him, say this, say that. I'm telling you right now, Rick Smits is one of the best overall cards in my team. Sarunas up next. I think I'm putting Sarunas at A tier. Look, for a free point guard, he's not bad. He's not bad. Is he as good as, let's say, even cheap KPJ? I mean, probably not. But that's not me saying Sarunas is bad. You can use Sarunas, have some success with him. I just think, there are other cheap point guards in my team, and that's kind of the problem I have with Mr. Sarunas. Sean Elliott. Release is weird. That's why I'm not going to go S tier. But he's going to play a lot of defense. I'm going to go A tier with Mr. Sarunas because, look, he is, or not Sarunas, Sean Elliott. He's 6'8". He's, in my opinion, a better version of a guy like Malik Sealy. Like, everything Malik Sealy lacks, I mean, Sean Elliott is going to provide for you on the court. Sean Elliott's release is weird, though. So if you do not green right away with him, don't think like, man, I just think. I mean, his release is a little tough to get the hang of, especially right away. But if you use him enough, you should get accustomed to that release time and to be able to green with him. Sean Elliott is a guy I definitely do respect in my team. I've used him a little bit here and there, and I think pretty highly of the card in general. Sean Livingston up next. You guys might hate me. He's going in S tier. You guys might hate me, but Mr. Sean Livingston is incredible. He's 6'7", can play decent. I'm not going to hype up his defense because it's not great, but he can play decent enough defense on the court. Combine that with his ability and release to knock down shots. He's S tier. I don't care who you are. Sean Livingston is S tier on my tier list. I mean, look, for me, he can play at the highest level. Like, he can. You can, if you go into a comp game right now and Sean Livingston's your point guard, is he the best point guard in the game? No. I mean, guys like Hero Ben Simmons, obviously like a Luka Doncic, LaMelo Ball are going to be better. But Sean Livingston can go out there and compete. That's why he is in S tier. Steven Adams, I guess I'll go D tier. Yeah, he's just not great. I mean, his release isn't great. He struggles that little bit. Steve Smith, hate me if you want. S tier. I think Steve Smith is better than all these guys. And I like all these guys. Like, I think Earl Lloyd and Chuck Cooper, in my opinion, are more fun to use. But Steve Smith is the better overall card, and I would be lying to not put him at S tier. Let's say I was to go into like a competitive My Team game today. Steve Smith would be my shooting guard over those guys. Why? He's just taller, can play a little better defense, and still can move and groove a little bit. Zion Williamson, last but certainly not least. Hate me if you want. S tier. As I've been using Zion, I've grown an appreciation for him. Because I've said it before and I'll say it again. The small forward position outside of Manute, outside of Bobo is so weak. I mean, who are you playing at small forward? AK? Sure, AK is just as good as Zion. But when we talk about free small forwards in my team, Zion is S tier. And I'm not telling you guys that he's worth grinding for. I'm not, because I don't think he is. Like, there are, again, Thurl Bailey, just as good. From top to bottom, even like a hero Xavier McDaniel. Not maybe quite as good, but on that same type of level. I don't necessarily think that Zion is like the be-all end-all. I don't think he's somebody that you should, specifically go and grind for. I'm just saying, if you get Zion Williamson, you're probably going to have success with the card, and you're probably going to enjoy using the card. So, I got Zion in my small forward, and I don't see any reason to replace him anytime soon. Because number one, he's fun. Number two, he can move. And number three, I don't have to spend MT getting him. That is going to wrap it up for our tier list today. Pretty short and sweet. Got a lot of guys. I did go pretty in-depth on them. Let me know your thoughts on the tier list down below in the comments. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe. You already do it as always, man. I love you guys. And have a blessed day.